got Neisha Neshae, one of the best artists in the game, trap R&B. She's the creator of that genre right there herself. You got the new album Redirection available on all platforms now. Make sure you go check this out. Congratulations on all the success. Bye
Thank
bye
you.
to the old you. I wish you well. So why don't we get right
But
into the album? So who was the old you?
the old me was, I don't want to say lost, but she was in discovery. I mean, I feel like we're always in discovery of who we are. But she was a little confused, and unsure. She wasn't as confident as she is now. Um, she was probably a little more fearful in the way that she was moving and the things that she was doing. Um, and she just wasn't as evolved as she is now, you know?
No, I'm happy for the growth, and I've learned about your journey, just all the struggles that you went through early on with being in foster care and things like that, and losing your mother in the 11th grade, and it's tough just learn about that journey. And I want to really give you a lot of credit for the fact that you've made it, and now 2025, you've predicted this to be your big year. Why does this year feel different compared to all the ones in the past? Because you've written down this list of goals and timeline every goal to achieve by. So why do you feel like this year is completely different?
I feel like the things that you are attracting in your life is based off of what you are and whether or not you are actually ready to receive that and to take care of it and hold it like you're supposed to. So I feel like the development that I've done and the evolution and the growing was necessary for me to be able to reach this level of success. And now when it gets to me, I'll be more than prepared to handle it the way I'm supposed to, you know?
Mhm. No,
So.
and what are some, because I you want to be rich by 30, so I think we're well on our way here, especially with the what you put out on this new album. The
For
talent's
sure.
there. It's been a long time coming. So, what are some
Definitely.
other goals that you're looking to have achieved now, especially with this timelining that you've had written out?
I mean, for those that know, behind the scenes, I am going through certain things politically. I would love for that to just, kind of hurry up and wrap up so we can move without having anything, not necessarily holding us up, but just having anything behind us. We want to be able to do our thing freely how we want to at our own pace. And also, another goal of mine would be, more acting roles. I haven't done my own tour yet. I did go on tour, earlier in my career with Big Sean. That was
Mhm.
16 cities. But I would love to do my own tour and really get face to face with my fans that are all over the world. And, just continue to grow and build as an artist and keep learning so I can one day be 100%er where I'm producing and mixing my own music.
And you got your own studio in-house. That's so important as an artist, and you can work whenever you want, because a lot of times artists will pay for studio time, and we know the prices skyrocket, of course, because it adds
Mhm.
up. But there's a lot of times when you schedule a time, you may pull up the studio, then you don't feel like recording. It's just, it comes with the game and the
Yeah.
territory. But it's good to
Mhm.
do it when you feel like doing it.
Yeah, and I do agree. Like studio time can definitely become treacherous. Like if you're paying for it out of your own pocket, studio time can be up to like $75 to $100 an hour. If you want to do a studio session that's 12 hours, I mean, you do the math. And where are you getting the funds?
Exactly.
So yeah, having my own studio has definitely changed my work ethic and allowed me to be able to just create at any time of the day, no matter what I'm feeling. So I do encourage any artist to make that investment.
Absolutely. And you're someone that's been doing this for a while now. Just you're always in the school play, not even just the school plays, but you're doing things like with singing in the church in high school and things like that. Always
Mhm.
wanting to perform for your aunt and family members and things like that. So when would you say that the hip hop came, the trap side came to you? Because it was always a part of you because of where you grew up in Ipsy, South Side, of
Mhm.
course, and Detroit claims you, well, they adopted you. And
Yeah.
so what would you say that the trap part came into the mold on the wax as far as music goes?
I always found myself kind of trying to experiment and dive into like the hip hop rap side of things.
Hmm.
You can go on YouTube and look up like old songs I did when my artist name was Shawty Soldier, and I'm rapping, featuring on, guys' songs, and we're rapping in the basement and stuff like that. I mean, obviously at the time I hadn't known what my sound was gonna be or what I was doing, but as I continued in my artistry and I've like been more hands on with everything, I think I've really discovered my sound, and then it just keeps getting better. So, you know, it kind of just came along and got better as I've been doing things.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I could tell you, really versatile. Untitled, that's my favorite record off of the album. You got the visual for it. I think there's so much to this record. Is that why you named it Untitled? Because it was just there's just so much in it to where you just couldn't put a
Yeah,
name on it.
it was hard to just narrow it down and try to like come up with something. Like, who likes titles anyway? So let's just not give it one.
It's definitely one of the story. That's the most one on when I look at the whole album, where it's like, wow, there's a lot to this as far as
Mhm.
storytelling goes. It's
Yeah.
deep, and you've been through a lot. And you mentioned Basement before. I wanted to get into this Basement story because this was early on where a friend told you that this is what you were meant to do. So kind of
Mhm.
walk us through that story because that would lead you to the path to where you're on now.
I was definitely just young and interested in figuring out like what it was that I was meant to be doing in life, because I was juggling between like playing sports and just doing kind of music for fun. But so these people that I was linking up with back in the day at the time to do music, they just believed in me. So anytime they needed a female on a song, they'll call me, and I'm like, I'm ready, always ready to get in the studio and do it for them. And so that just kind of put a fire in me when they were like, you should take this serious. You should really do your thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And ever since that day, I told all my friends in high school, middle school, everybody, like, I'm gonna be a superstar one day. I'm gonna chase my music dream. And everybody was, some people believed in me, some people was like, oh, whatever. But it's a lot of people that hit me up now that I went to school, and they're like, oh my gosh, like you're really doing what you said you was gonna do. So I'm standing up business.
You are. You're ready.
For sure.
With everything that you've been through, did you have to really go to therapy at all? Did you utilize that to get through the struggles?
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
I had an in-house therapist in middle school. Had multiple therapists. Just growing up, my aunt made sure I kept someone that I could confide in.
Hmm.
And I think that it did help at the time, probably more than I thought it was. So I don't see anything wrong with therapy. I think maybe one day I would get one now,
Hmm.
just because I am juggling a lot. And it's not easy being in an industry like this, especially when you're dealing with all the extra things that I'm dealing with that a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, therapy. Woohoo!
Yeah, and you mentioned the acting thing. So where does this really come into place? Because I know you got the acting role that you got with the first role. Kalani was supposed to have this part that
Mhm.
you got a part of, but you went in there and just with no experience and you just did it, and
Yeah,
you got the part. That's how they messaged you. So do you feel as though that there was something before maybe that you took a part of to where this was your calling as well for acting?
definitely just being in like those church plays and
Okay.
doing like dance, tap dancing, and all those things that help build like character and develop who you are as a young child. My sister and I did all the extracurricular stuff, so I definitely think that helped me like have this confidence and this ability to like tap in and be other people or personalities. Um but yeah, while I was just saying that, I kind of just wanted to take a step back to what you were saying about the therapy and stuff like that, because I was looking at your page and I see that you're big on mental health awareness, and I am too.
Oh, I appreciate that you looked
Yeah,
into that. Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, so that the therapy thing, that's why I'm like, I think that is a good thing to do. If you could find a good one, I encourage people to do it.
I do too. It's important because a lot of people are suffering in silence out here, and it takes a mental health toll. You gotta,
Hmm.
I think you really need to speak to someone. I think some people are afraid to take that leap because it may be weak or they may not want to admit what they've been through. It is
Hmm.
tough, but if you can do it, take advantage of it.
Definitely.
It's so important. It's life changing. I will say that makes things easier.
Yeah.
It takes away the struggles. It for sure does, and I could tell that you really utilize that throughout your career, and you put the therapy into your music. So now you help other people with that, especially with
For sure.
redirection. Would you say it's kind of more of a kind of it's more of a thinking pattern because you've been through a lot throughout your life and your career. You were signed to Rock Nation. You had 11 songs recorded with them and never released. So was it
Hmm.
kind of more of just reevaluating the mental process behind how the industry has gone for you and just being on divine timing? Let's relate it to that record that's off of the that this is your path in life.
Yeah, it's all a accumulation. Some of these songs on this project I recorded, 2, 3 years ago. Some of them I recorded like a couple months ago.
Mhm.
So it is like accumulation of all of these experiences and emotions and revelations that I've had, during this period of time that have helped me discover who I am deeper on a deeper level. And so I want to use this project to encourage people to, you know, um, embrace the journey because we oftentimes get like really caught up in like the outcome and like what's happening next, where's the money, like where's the all this, and it's like we got to stop and smell the flowers sometimes and really just enjoy where we are and the people that are around us, and try to see the beauty in life through it
Mhm.
all,
Mhm.
because there's plenty of times I could have quit and gave up through all of this stuff that I've been going through, but I remain steadfast because I know there's a lot of people watching me, and I know that like this is the purpose that God has put me here to fulfill. So I'll stop at nothing to do that.
No, and I'm glad that you haven't. Your fans are glad that you haven't given up. And we look at the reference to this track, "Blessed," which you opened the album with. So when did you really start to analyze things from a positive note? Because I really think that because I'm someone that views things through a negative lens at times, especially when you've been through a lot. So when did
Hmm.
you start to really sit back and say, I'm grateful for my friends and my family? So when did you really start to sit back and look at the great things and positive things that you have around you?
That's a really good question because a few years ago I did my interview with the Breakfast Club. So cringe to me. It's like I was in such a negative lens space, and I was so caught up in like telling this narrative of my life and this story that I felt like would be so captivating to other people, but for me it started to feel like a guilt thing or like a pity thing. It was like the only thing I was telling people was like, oh yeah, I've been abused, I've been through this, I've been through that, and now that's like the only thing people know of me, and I'm like, hold on. I had a beautiful childhood growing up, and what made me, okay, I've heard about this thing, it's called like not selective memory, but it's almost like that, to where you've experienced so much trauma in your childhood where that's like the one thing that stands out real big, even though you might have had good things in your life or experienced good things. These traumatic experiences are so loud, so it's like not until you face them and heal them that you're like, you don't really realize you keep telling people about all this stuff you've gone through. Not that that's a problem, but anyways, my aunt gave me an old photo album, and also some old videotapes of my sister and I when we were younger. All of these, like I was telling you before, extracurricular activities like dancing, spending time with the family, apple bobbing, all of the holidays, great vibes, great memories. And it just brought back all of these positive memories of my life. And I was like, you know what? I've been so caught up in all the bad things that I went through in life, I forgot about the good stuff. And so that's what made me be like, you know what? I need to start telling people all the good stuff I've been through, like how my aunt and my grandpa, sacrificed so much to raise my sister and I, and they made sure that we lived good lives and we were well taken care of. And I've got to travel the world and see so many beautiful things, and I've got to do a lot of beautiful things with my life. So I don't want people to look at me and be like, I feel bad for her. She's just a girl coming up from the slums, been through abuse. Let's Nah, I want people to see you can come from that and then you can live a very beautiful life if that's what you truly desire. It doesn't matter what you come from or what you've been through. I kind of just ranted, but that's what that is.
Mhm. No, I could tell. You're right. Even though when you do have negative things going on in your childhood, there are positives around that. And a lot of times when
Yeah,
you face the negatives, that's what we focus on. And that's the whole point of therapy as well, that it helps you overcome those obstacles. Be like, yeah,
right.
even though I was going through some deep stuff that wasn't the best, there were some things that I could be grateful around me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's definitely there. But I do want to talk about embracing the journey because it really was humble beginnings for you, especially
Mhm.
too. You had to work at Taco Bell
Yeah.
early on. So how long were you there for? I know that's like a simple question, but because there's people in your position right now that are probably working these jobs and they're like, how long am I going to be here until I get to get paid off of what I love doing? So how long were you there?
Honestly, I was a little bit of a troublemaker in school, so I had to keep a job because
Oh,
I was on probation for two cities at the same time. And obviously you had to pay the fines, and then I'm dropping every other week or whatever it is. So I kept a job. I worked at Arby's, Leo's Coney Island, Taco Bell, McDonald's. I did it all, and I worked it up until my old manager gave me the okay, like, you know what, you're not going to be able to keep trying to make it to this interview and not go to work this night. And like, it was like I had to sacrifice one. So since then
mm,
I haven't worked a job. I've put my faith solely in my career and the other things that I get into, like the acting and stuff like that. But
mm.
yeah, God is good.
Yeah, he definitely is. So with this job too, because with it, because it's hard to juggle. So did you have because this is a really important question because a lot of times people are living check to check. So
Hmm.
I really don't like getting into finances, but did you have enough of a cushion to where you took that risk and it was like, all right, I have a little bit of a safety blanket here because there's a lot of times people are living check to check and they don't have that much of a security blanket, which keeps them hooked into the job. So did you
Hmm.
have a little bit of security blanket?
I would say I did, and I didn't. I say I did because I was young. I was 17. I didn't have my own house, my own car, and like responsibilities that was
Mhm.
like eat at my money in that regard. Um, but did I? But also like I didn't because I'm young. It's like I did, but I didn't. That's really what it was. I was
Mm.
making the money off features like starting to make money from features and shows, and so gradually it got better, but with the help of the people around me, like it was cool.
Mhm.
It was cool.
Yeah, you got to have the right people around you. On the Cloud, that was the record that was going up to. That was the first
Yeah.
one.
Hmm. On a cloud and never coming down.
No, yeah, we're still on this cloud. Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. A
okay.
little audio technical difficulties.
uh, it happens. It definitely does. So you start to message managers on Instagram right away. So
Mm.
how about we get into this process of you really doing the scouting and now connecting with the management?
I don't like waiting. Never been a waiter.
Mhm,
When I want something, I will set out to get it, and that's what I did. At the time, I didn't really know much about the music business or what I wouldn't even need a manager for, because I didn't
mhm,
really even have music recorded. I just wanted a manager because I was like, I want to be an artist. Artists need managers, so I was like, let me go find one. And so I get on Instagram. I'm DMing people trying to find somebody to listen to my music. Um, and at the time I found someone, and he reached back out and he was like, send me some of your music. I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have any music. So I had to go find, at the time I was working with a new producer that I met. His name is Jay West. It's like one of the first producers I ever worked with. And we sat down, locked in his basement, and recorded some new music to send him. We sent it to the manager that I found, and then we ended up putting together a meeting. He liked everything, and then from there it was up.
it was
Up
up.
to the check.
Yeah,
Hmm. And that's why I
especially
tell people, don't wait. If you want it, go get it. Got to go get it.
you got to go get it and bet it on yourself because a lot of times people aren't there's no one that's I always say this there's no one's gonna be knocking on your door. You got to go out
Hmm.
there and closed mouths don't get fed. You got to go out there and keep trying, keep pushing. That's what
Yeah.
you did. This is a testament to
Mhm.
everything that you've been on this journey now for a while. So let's get into the tour with Big Sean, MSG. You were out there performing where my Knicks play. I love the Knicks. So how was it performing in that the biggest arena in the world?
It was beautiful. For that to be my first experience of a tour, it was something I'll never forget. I think that I wish I would have been more mindful at the time, or just like more in the moment, because I was young. I didn't necessarily even know what I was getting myself into. I just knew we're going to these places, you get on stage and you perform. You know what I mean? You do
Mhm.
what you're supposed to do. So, but had I been more mature and like intentional and wiser, I definitely think I would have handled the whole tour differently. But also I had a lot on my plate on that tour. I was doing my own hair, doing my own makeup, dressing myself, and we're traveling on the road to each city in a black truck. It was exhausting,
Hmm.
but I had a ball. I had a
Yeah.
ball, and that's what makes me want to put together my own tour. I'm like, I have to, even if it's like 8 cities, you know.
There definitely
Shout
has
out
to
to
be a
Big
tour.
Sean. Sorry
Yeah,
to
shout
cut
out
you
to
off.
Big Sean. When was the last time you spoke with Big Sean? Because that's Detroit, right? That's love right there.
We speak periodically,
Mhm.
if he comes in town, I do see him at his events when he comes to Detroit and stuff like that. It's always love.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, shout out to Big Sean. Definitely one of the top for sure. It's a lot. So what's the pulse around Detroit right now? I mean, you got Icewear Vezzo. Featured you. You got the leading role in his movie. So
mhm.
how is it having the task of becoming a lead actress?
I really feel like that put me instead a different standard for me in my acting world. So now I'm kind of swifting through when people are reaching out for different roles because I don't want to just do anything. But obviously, I'm really interested in bigger bigger roles and stuff like that and doing more acting. I just kind of waiting for uh, you know different opportunities,
Mhm.
opportunity that's gonna make me evolve as an actress. Like I don't want to be just too here and there. But I did just wrap up shooting a new series. It's called We Different, 6 episodes. So that is gonna be cool. They're already talking about doing a season 2. So whenever that comes out, everybody just stay tuned. It's coming. It's coming.
Stay tuned. Yeah, congratulations on that. So what did you learn
Thank you.
most when going to, of course, so when did you learn most when going to LA? Because that's the mecca of acting, Hollywood. So how was it being out there and what did you learn from these acting classes out there?
We did this one drill. The she we had to act like we were in a dark room. We just woke up from being kidnapped, and someone we loved was, off in the distance. And I feel like that was one of the most like I don't know what the word is, but lack of better terms, like awakening thing for me because it brought so many emotions out of me without it actually being that type of moment. Like I had to just think about my sister and then I'm just bawling crying, and so I was like, oh yeah, I'm good at this. If I could think about something and then start crying, I was like, yeah, this the classes brought out a whole nother side of acting in me that made me be like, all right, let me find some more roles. I definitely need to get in the LA world, in the acting world out there more.
Yeah. Have you thought about relocating out there?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Cali or anywhere in that area would be nice,
Yeah,
but
that's
also I
where you
thought
got to
about
be.
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta too. Yeah, that's where they have a lot of filming going down there. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's another hot spot for acting. I know New York is basically all Broadway or Law and Order or things like that, but
Mhm.
it's so cliche. You kind of want to do things different when you're in Atlanta and LA. There's more opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, I love it out there.
Yeah, I could tell. You want to go back.
Yeah, everybody says they think I look like I'm from Cali, which I agree. Okay, just send me back then. Send me back.
Yeah, I could just tell that's I think that's where you're meant to be, especially now that you've gotten into the acting world and things like that. So what's a role that you want to get involved with? What's a role? Because it seems though that you keep wanting to expand. So what's that role that you really see for yourself?
I want to do action, like a super fire action movie, like on some Angelina Jolie
Okay.
type of thing, or like a sport acting movie where I'm a boxer, a professional boxer, or
Mhm.
whatever sport it is. But I think something athletic or something action would just be where I can get in the gym for a treacherous 9 months, get my body banging, and then kill the role. I feel like that's for me for
Mhm.
sure.
Like a Creed role or even Million Dollar Baby, one of the boxing roles. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be tough. I think that would definitely be a perfect fit. Even basketball, because you got the basketball background. You played a lot of hoops there. I know, I know things definitely. Again, my condolences with your mother, because this would be kind of the turn of events to where you would take the music path because it was hoops was really you were really good at that.
Mhm. Yeah, I was I
That
was
was a passion.
I would have been a professional female basketball player for sure. But it just got to a point where it wasn't doing it for me anymore. It was like I loved it, but it wasn't like enough of an escape for me.
Mhm.
And music just turned out to be that. It's like it just was something about writing it, and then people automatically falling in love with it. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. But I do box now. I box on the side,
Okay.
and I one of my goals is to be in the 2028 Olympics.
Wow.
I don't know why I'm laughing because I'm so serious.
No, I believe that's a goal that I've never heard anyone say about being in the boxing Olympics, especially on my show. I've never heard that. I want to see that happen. And hey, if you put your
Thank
mind to,
you.
I'm not one of these people either because I hate people that say no, you can't do that. I was never.
Yeah.
I don't surround myself with people like that because number one, I always
Mhm.
prove them wrong, and number two, it's always negative energy, and that's definitely something that you could accomplish.
Absolutely. Thank you. I
Yeah.
received that.
Yeah. I can't deal with the haters and the naysayers. And speaking of
Mhm.
that, this is something with me doing my research on you, because I relate to this in a lot of ways, is that I'll show love to people, but those same people don't show love back. Why do you think that is?
Out of fear of you outshining them. Well, I think that's like 50%, 60%,
Hmm.
The other percent is just because I don't think people realize how valuable it is. And sometimes things don't get done unless people think there's value in it. And so nowadays with just like the way social media is going and everyone wanting to brand their pages a certain way. I literally was talking to this about my team the other day. Like nobody wants to post other people's stuff on their pages anymore like we used to.
Mhm.
It's you can get a story post, maybe, and then they'll delete it after 2 hours. But it's just hard now to get people to support you, especially online, because of how they want to look, their brands or the aesthetic.
Mhm.
Um, but I think as long as you just continue to be who you are, stay positive, keep focusing on the love and showing love like you naturally would, and the people that are meant to like receive you and show you that love will auto just be receptive to that, and like nature will just naturally weed all the fake love out.
It will. It's so important. And social media it's completely toxic. I've done my research on you to the point to where you said you hate social media. I agree. I can't stand it. I try to post and get off as much as I can. Yeah, it's too much.
That
It
is
really
so
is.
funny that you saw that.
It's too much. It's
It
toxic.
is.
If you go to the explore page, doesn't it like read your mind about everything that you're going through?
It literally happened to me today. No lie. And I was like, this is creepy because I wasn't even talking about it out loud. I was texting someone about it. And I was like, oh, that's scary. Like we're in a different time.
We are. It's reading our minds. You don't even have to say anything, and it's just right there. It's I don't get it. There's something you got to delete these apps. I'm telling you, it's gonna start to take us over. You're seeing it's like what's the Terminator, Rise of the or I Robot. It's like
The
that.
the
The AI,
thing.
the Terminator. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, it definitely is. It's tough, but you know what? We just got to keep posting what we love on our platforms. That's another thing too.
Mhm.
The algorithms. I've noticed, like even since like the past year, the traction has died down big time too.
Yeah,
It's not. I remember I used to get thousands and hundreds of likes, and now it's like you're lucky if you get double digits sometimes. Now
literally.
it's crazy.
Literally. It's because the people are just consuming so fast now. Like
Mhm.
it's the what do they call it? Not
Attention
time.
span.
Attention span is
Mhm.
getting shorter by the second. Like they're saying dang near it's like half a second now that you could catch someone's attention in the beginning of your video. That's how fast it is. So I mean, I think that's why the views are cutting down because people are just so uninterested. It's like this
Mhm.
now. Nobody's watching anything unless it's super entertaining. Um and so also I think that's why streaming's become so popular with the long form stuff because you can click out, go eat a snack, come back, click back in and be watching for 30 minutes and stuff like that. Um but we just got to kind of keep trying to evolve with the technology as it hits us.
We
That's all we
do.
really can do.
It's scary too for someone that such as yourself, and I'm involved with acting as well, is that you see these movie theaters. No one goes to the movies anymore. No one can sit down and watch a movie.
They're
That's like the whole
empty.
dream. That's a whole dream, is to get your movie in the theaters and see yourself. And now it's no one's going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
it's
whole artist AI thing, that's getting scary too.
it is. And I saw Timbaland was doing something about that recently or something. That's yeah, he's got a. I don't recommend that. I don't know why he's getting involved. That's dangerous territory, right there. You gotta create from yourself using all these animatronics and computerized. I really don't understand it. I really don't. But that's why we have artists such as yourself. That's really pushing everything forward here. So we got Man Down. We're going to talk
Mm.
about this record. So when did you really learn to love yourself? Because I think that's so important nowadays, especially with the toxic dating climate. We see what's going on social media. So how did you learn to love yourself?
It's a ongoing process,
Mhm.
you know. But just continuously going through experiences that forced me to sit and be with myself. It's like, you know, you start being like, you want to be better for other people, and you want to do better for not just other people but for yourself, and that comes with being able to look at yourself and admit certain things about yourself that might be uncomfortable, and continuing to discover and rediscover who you are. So I mean, for me, that journey has brought me very and put me in very low spaces, mentally, emotionally, physically. Even like there was a point in my career I was like 100 pounds, and that was because of stress and me just taking on so much on my plate. And I had to just figure it out. Like I had to be like, you know what, this isn't me. I'm better than this. I'm bigger than this. And the person that I want people to be inspired by isn't this person. And that's what made me wake up like, nah, it's time to, shake it up. And so I got in the gym and I started doing the boxing. And even just being in the gym helped me with my discipline and my attitude and my confidence tenfold. That helps a lot. I can blame it on a multitude of things. Having better people around me, getting out of toxic relationships, like not no longer settling for things I know I'm better than. Like that was major on my journey. Cuz I used to try to get people to see the value in me, and I would do close to anything for them to see it,
Mhm.
and so yeah, if I can teach any young girl out there to just try to speak more light into yourself,
Mhm.
and see, and sometimes you can write down the things you do and don't like about yourself, just so you can just remind yourself, that your inner dialogue is so important. We were talking about Man Down, but this feels more like a conversation and not an interview, and so I think that's why I keep getting into depth on
Mhm.
things. But Man Down is definitely one of my more vulnerable records on the album, where I do mention, my dad wasn't necessarily present in my life,
Mhm.
which is sometimes hard for us young women to admit, because people like to make you feel ashamed about it, or oh, she got daddy issues and all of that, when that's not the case, because I had beautiful male figures in my life, like my grandfather that raised me, um but not having my dad present did play a big role in my my pain growing up, or the my behavior. So I think that was an important thing to put in that song, and for
Mhm.
people to know about me so they can see where I'm coming from with certain things. So everybody should go download Man Down if they have real feelings.
Oh yeah, and nowadays you can't tell, like with social media. I think there's times where people put out too much on social media. And you mentioned the gym videos everywhere. We see that. I feel as
Yeah.
though there's sometimes you got to keep that in private, because I feel as though, what are you using that for? You see what
Hmm.
social media is now. It's just like a big thirst trap, and I feel as though you
Yep.
have to really take all that stuff that you're posting and put it into yourself, because I feel as though if you're showing it, you're not feeling it.
Hmm. For sure. For sure. And it's easy to get misinterpreted
Hmm.
online. You could post something with the intention of it being one thing, and the internet's gonna think a whole nother. So,
Yeah. Yeah, this is why social media is bad. Post what's true to yourself. That's the only thing that we could do is stay true to ourselves on social
mhm,
media. I know you do. I
yeah,
just by
I
every
try.
yeah. You got to. I mean, you're real. It is crazy because you do have friends, which is I mean, I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised because someone that has success as yourself, I can count on one hand the amount of personal friends that I have because a
Hmm.
lot of people have snaked me, and that's just what comes of the in the industry.
Yeah,
How are you able to maintain have friends? Because it's so rare.
my group of friends is the same friends I've had for many years, like at
Wow.
least 8. Like it's a couple people I've met over the years that we're getting closer and closer, but I'm so friend oriented. I don't play about my friends. I feel like we should all be able to communicate about things when we're uncomfortable. And I try to stay as close as possible to them and let them know that no matter what position I'm in or what's going on, like I got their back. All of my friends are super solid. Like I'm grateful for my friends.
Mhm. And you hear that on the record, blessed, and you are blessed because not everyone has friends. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that.
for sure.
It definitely, I mean, this album is really one for the ages when you look at it, just the journey of it. So, what are you planning for this? Because I think as though we could have like a mini documentary behind this. Is there things that you have planned besides the tour that you're going to be putting forth with the new album?
I really, on a creative side of things, want to create like a short film type of thing. I'm not sure how exactly I want to go about it.
Mhm.
It's not that this project was like I've been planning on dropping this project for like, oh my goodness, if not a year, close to it. But there's like always something I want to change or tweak. Like I'm a perfectionist, so now that it's finally out, I am just going with the flow. I do have a plan, obviously, for like promotion and marketing and all of that on the back end. But as far as that goes, I'm ready to put out some lit music too. Like this project for me is like a medicine. It's just like a hug that I want to give all my fans for rocking with me for this long through the journey of me like slowing down, putting out music and growing and all of that, being confused, just a hug to them. And I want them to know that I appreciate them. And I'm like so grateful to be in this place to be able to finally drop an album. But I am also ready to continue moving forward and just let the music do what it's supposed to do. Blessed is naturally just doing its thing. Like that's obviously everybody's favorite song on the album right now due to the numbers. So,
Mhm.
and I haven't shot a video to that or anything. I do plan on shooting visuals to a few of the songs on the project so they can look forward to that. Um, but yeah, just keep building the catalog and pushing,
Mhm.
pushing forward.
When you look at the album, what's the most important track to you? But even one that may have surpassed your whole catalog, because Jackpot was that one for you that you always look to. Jackpot's the top one when you look at your discography. So what's the record on this one that really stands out to you now?
Definitely blessed.
Mm,
I think that's just naturally if you can find it in yourself to feel grateful and have gratitude even when things aren't going how you want them to. That's when you attract even better things into your life. So that was one of the major lessons I learned on my journey is to just continuously feel blessed and put that energy out. And so the universe knows that I'm appreciative through the highs and the lows. The next song would probably be Man Down,
mhm.
and then Brand New.
Brand new.
That speaks volumes on relationships and how people will switch up on you, whether that's like platonic or in a romantic relationship. And sometimes they're going to start acting brand new, but it's up to you to know your value and continue pushing forward. And then Never Know. I mean, I like I like the whole album. If I keep going, I'm gonna name every song on that.
Yeah. Hey,
It's
we
just
could.
so good to me, like, and
It
it
is.
flows from start to finish.
And that's the main thing too when I look at it, and it speaks to just your roots and just being an authentic artist and artist that you're a fan of, like Mary J. Blige. That's your dream collaboration right
Yeah.
there. We'll get into Mary in a minute, but when you look at the chronological order, it's like a '90s album in a way because it all goes together in sync. And you
Hmm.
come from the era too where you were pressing up, you were doing the flyers and the CDs. You come from that era, so it's
Yeah.
almost you have the best of both worlds and
Mhm.
immerse it onto this new album.
Yeah, so crazy you brought up the CDs. Like people have no idea how much easier they kind of have it now with the online promoting thing because you literally had to physically get up and go promote your stuff like hand in hand. And so social anxiety, you couldn't use that as a thing.
No.
Like you still got to talk to people. So yeah, this new era is taking some getting used to, but I also think that like I said again, we just kind of adapt to what's going on, what's what's going on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's how it's either we get lost or we keep moving ahead in these times, and
Mhm.
it's constantly evolving. So, Mary J. Blige, what's this album you will say if we can go take a time machine? I wish we could take a time machine in the 90s. What's that album you would love to be a part of with Mary J. Blige?
You would put me on the spot like that, where I have to remember the name of the album.
Or even a song. How about that? I'll make it easier.
Um, Definitely, probably just fine. Just
Hmm.
because whatever era she was in at that time was just like it was elite. It was top tier. I love her. I mean, I love her to this day still. But Mary J. Blige, the runaway love era, the
Hmm.
storytelling era she was in, that like put a real big impact on my music, and that's why I love to tell stories in my music now because I feel like that's the most authentic is when you can really relate to a story in a song. And so, man, shout out to Mary if you ever see this or if you just happen to find out who I am. I want to work with you.
Yeah, that would be legendary, and it will happen. You got to keep manifesting it. So, how much? Because you're adopted by Detroit. So did you kind of ever find the inspiration from the D12 with Eminem and Royce the 5'9"? Were you ever kind of influenced by them at all?
I definitely listened to Eminem growing up,
Mhm.
and that was probably about it. I wasn't
Mhm.
too familiar with D12 and Royce, but shout out to Royce because he supports me. Like he posts my stuff on his social media and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, definitely was an Eminem girl growing up. Slim Shady.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, it's huge. And now, see, I think that would be a dream collab too. I think something with you and them, that would be big. That would be
Yeah, I'll be down.
fire.
I'm
Yeah,
looking to do some new stuff with Cash and hopefully Dej Loaf soon.
Days Loaf.
Really
Yeah, you've been speaking on that for years because I know with doing my research, people always kind of compared. I guess there were comparisons. Is that what it was back in the day? People would try to compare you to Days or something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely early in my career was a lot of that comparison going on, especially from like the labels and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But
I
I
don't
do think
notice it when I listen to your music. I don't get like Days Loaf. It's completely separate to me.
definitely. I've always
Mhm.
felt like that. So I never I'm not sure if I ever did acknowledge that, but I definitely think we have our own sounds.
I agree.
And people were just using that as a way to people have to compare something to something. So of course that was the best way for them to do it. But yeah, definitely shout out to Dej and her sound and the wave that she created because not only did she create that wave and that vibe, but she gave a lot of young women the confidence and courage to step into their music careers and do what they wanted to do. So
Mhm.
I think that's super dope.
And Try Me was a monster record. I remember when
Oh
that
yeah,
dropped. Oh,
for sure.
that's yeah. And now it's your time to. I'm gonna go crazy. You're going crazy again. So you got the new
Hmm.
album out. So
Yeah.
this is your time. I mean, it's been your time, but now we're really pushing forward for everything. The acting. So you like to do your own makeup. Have you thought about? We see what Rihanna did with the Fenty line and all that. So is there something that you'd like to have in the works as far as beauty products go?
I'm super creative. One thing that I've been working on idea wise is some shea butter. I would call it Neshae butter.
Mhm.
um, on the makeup side of things, I think it would probably be more like a partnership or a brand deal where they're giving me makeup to do my own makeup. That would be cool. I
Mhm.
just do it for fun. So also, makeup artists are charging a lot of money nowadays to do a face of makeup. So like
Too much.
$120, $130 a time. So I'm like, that's insane.
That's too much. It's getting crazy out here, especially the haircuts. Like for men, oh my God, the haircuts. $50. I'm hearing $60 for some kind. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unbelievable just to maintain a look.
Need to get rich.
I did love this comparison because I use this as a form of therapy as well. Cleaning. You like cleaning. I'm a clean freak. I'm someone that has to vacuum, clean.
Yeah.
You're big on cleaning, and I do use that as a form of therapy. I put on my headphones and listen to music
Hmm.
and clean. It is a good form of therapy.
Yeah. Depending on my mood, I'm a cleaner.
Yeah.
If it's like, if it's like, oh, I can get to that later, then I'll do that too. But definitely therapy for cleaning. Blast the music as loud as you can so your neighbors
Mhm.
can hear every word, and then clean.
And then that's how you have to do it. So I remember you got this karaoke machine for Christmas when you were young. Did you ever put that to work at all? Because that's something that you could have probably made like a side hustle on.
I definitely put it to work, but for myself,
Oh yeah.
like just singing for all my family members whenever I could. My aunt, I wonder if my aunt still has that. I don't know, but that was definitely one of my favorite gifts I had growing up. The karaoke machine. Oh my gosh, singing High School Musical, word for word. Yeah,
Those were the times.
definitely was the times. I miss being young and not having to pay bills, not having certain responsibilities. Adulting is hard.
It is. Yeah, it really is. Especially in this line of work, it is because it's rare for anyone if you're not in the industry to understand you. And even then, it's different because we all go through our own individual struggles. But if
For
you're
sure.
in the industry and then you try to get with someone on a relationship level or just even a friend level, they don't understand your way of life because they're living in a regular life system, which is people would call the 9 to 5. But it's so no one's gonna understand the way you live. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Mm-hmm. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're retired from that and going full forward with the music.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Red flag. All I gotta see is the red flag that you're not ready, and I'm pretty good. I used to
Red
try to
flags.
get someone to understand and see it, and no, you can't even waste your time doing that. If they don't get it, they just don't get it.
No, they don't. Yeah, and it's unfortunately it's a lot of red flags, and social media doesn't help. That doesn't
Yeah.
help at all because I feel as though too, like with social media, even though it brings people down, it inflates people up as well to where they think that they're on your level and that they're
Egos
better
be
than you.
so big.
It's a contradiction
Yeah.
of hypocrisy everywhere.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You see
It
it.
is. The amount of people that will sit behind a screen and just hate and do all the typing, and it's just the misery is at an all-time high. I'm not gonna lie, but like that's why I said don't like social media.
No, well, you do because I do relate to this as well. You got to block pages. I know
Oh
you
yeah.
met some trolls. We all have
Oh
trolls
yeah.
and things like that. You gotta create your own boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. My block list is extensive.
Oh yeah. How long you think yours is? Is it in the hundreds, thousands? What do we think?
A few hundred.
Few hundred, same. I'd
Yeah.
probably say so.
And I'm very like much don't. Oh, which blocked?
Well, here's the thing too. Of course, I block enemies and stuff like that. But when you get death threats, because that's happened to me, it's just
Mm.
you got to get rid of that.
Oh, for
That's
sure. I'm reporting you too. Like, don't ever
yeah.
play with me in your life. You'll be lucky if Instagram lets you make another page after me. Like, don't play.
You deal with it all.
That's funny you said that. It's a good thing that that's like one of the good things about having a fan base, though. Is, because I used to clap back like
Mhm.
real quick at everything, but now I really don't even have to raise a finger. Like my fans will go in the comments. So
That means the world when you have that
mhm.
supportive fan base. So why don't we look at it from the blessed view? What was that fan moment for you? What's that top fan moment that you've had so far?
Top fan moment early in my career, I had a show. After the show, a young girl came up to me. She's like, "My grandma wants to meet you." And so I went over there, and the grandma ended up being blind.
Mm.
So she heard my whole performance, and she was just telling me how much she loved my voice, and how much of a fan of me she was. And I was like, this is coming from someone who can't even see me. So I can only imagine how what she was feeling when she heard my voice. And that's something I always remember, that you can impact people in ways, you know, you wouldn't even believe. So that
That's a
was a
deep
big one.
story.
Yeah,
See, music is a universal language. It really is.
absolutely. And I speak very fluently.
Oh yeah, yeah. This album, it's storytelling at the next level. It really is. Yeah, I'm telling you, this album it should be up for awards. That's how
Thank
good it
you.
is and deep it is. It's definitely like it's almost like a diary. It's definitely your journey on this album.
That's crazy you said that. When I was on the news a few days ago, I was like, she asked me about it. I was like, to me, it felt like I was writing a book, but like in music form,
It was like
just
a
telling my
diary.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think journaling is important too.
hmm Oh, it definitely it helps.
Yeah. So anyone that's like feeling like stuck or like they have some built up things within them, try to write it down and sometimes burn it.
hmm
That's just my friendly advice for the night.
Yeah, you gotta burn it. So you had a friend that really put you. So I wanted to get into this friend that put you on the path to manifestation. So when did you really start to see
Mm.
those manifestations come true?
Oh my goodness. I can't remember how old I was. Must have been like 12, 14, 16, something like that. And one of my friends hit me up. It was super late. He was like, I need somebody to talk to. Can I like pull up? I'm like, cool, whatever. He pulls up and he's like, he starts telling me he wants to talk to me about something that like he can't talk to anybody about because nobody understands.
hmm
At the time, I had just started smoking weed. I don't know if I could say that on here, but
You can.
um, so I wasn't present. I didn't really understand what he was saying. I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. Tell me more. And he gets to talking about how you can create, whatever life you want as long as you envision it and you feel it and you put the emotion with it and all of that. And then it comes true. And I'm like, cool. All right, have a good one. Thanks for telling me. And then a couple years later, I'm doing like big shows and I'm doing these interviews and I'm meeting famous people and I'm like, these are things that I envisioned for myself. I would sit and I would see myself meeting these people and how it would feel when I met them, or I would envision my shows being sold out and people screaming in the crowd and all these things, and it started happening and I was like, what is this? And then it clicked to me, like he planted the seed when he came over and spoke to me that day, and then from then on the seed just continued to grow. And so I'm very big on manifestation. Everything that I've accomplished, including this new house that I live in, I just moved in here. It's going on 2 years now, but I used to live in a little smaller house.
hmm
It was time for me to move, so I wrote a list, and everybody take notes. This is how I got a bigger house. I wrote on this list, like, thank you to the universe or thank you to God, whoever they want to write to, for my new big house. Thank you for the protection that my new house gives me. I listed all these things and feelings of like my new house. Thank you for it being as big as it is, like my dog enjoying it, all this stuff. And now I'm living in a house that's 5 times bigger than my other house. So I do believe in manifestation and creating the life that you want by envisioning and visualizing and really knowing, not just believing or hoping, but you have to know
hmm
what it is already, not what, you know, you get my gist.
Exactly. I get it. Yeah, you gotta write it down, believe it, and stay consistent with it. You
Yep.
gotta journal every day. You
Hmm.
have to. It's got to be a ritual that you do each time. I think they say you got to do it in the comfort space and at the same time. You got to keep it the
Yeah.
same pace.
Yeah. Definitely. Journaling's a game changer.
It is. You'll be amazed to see what, and even when you start really believing, you'll. It's crazy because I just started realizing it. You'll think like, I could see this happening, and then soon enough it happens.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
And then you're like, oh, what's the next thing that I can like bring to life?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm magic
Connect your
all
own
of a sudden.
thoughts. I'm telling you, there's no limits. There really is, and I don't even think sky's the limit. I know we use that reference with the Biggie record, but I think we can go past the sky.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how is this relationship with? I think it's with Brandon. Is this the person that you worked with in the studio? I think it was for with the vocals early on and things like that. I think some workshops.
Yes, he's from Star Factory.
Hmm.
So, if any artists are looking to develop their sound or their presence on stage or anything like that, he's definitely the guy to go to. He just helped elevate me overall in my artistry. I think the artist development thing is like a lost. People don't do it anymore for whatever reason. I know why. It's because they're getting popular. They post a video online, it blows up. All of a sudden they're viral and famous and all of that. And it's just like, well, this is all I needed to do. So it's like not necessarily no reason for me to go develop it.
Hmm.
This thing that got me, viral. But I do feel like all artists that are trying to really be a successful musician should do development for sure.
I agree. Yeah, and especially now, you need to go seek it out, especially because I've talked about it with other artists, with them taking the music out of schools and things like that. So now you have to go seek it out and even self-train yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel like that's ridiculous. Why take it out of the schools? Because it's a lot of kids that don't even have access to those type of resources
Mhm.
outside of school. So why make it harder?
Yeah, we're living in dark times now as well. I mean, we know that
Hmm.
the times are getting more bleak and darker, and it's unfortunate. We gotta keep it real and speak the truth, even though people may not want to hear that, but because it
Yeah.
ruffles feathers. We've seen that with a lot of people in the industry. Tupac, we've seen a lot of artists, they ruffle feathers because they're truth tellers.
Hmm.
It's not the correct thing to do, even though we can't cross our values.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And most people who are followers of the Lord should always expect it's fruit fly season. Okay. If you are a follower of God, and you're one of those people that are, a leader or, here living in your purpose, you have to expect to get hit by rocks. That's just what it is. When you shine bright, things are gonna get thrown at you to try to dim you, and continue to shine. Shine on, shine on. I'm so silly. I'm sorry.
No, this is real. This is authentic. This is who you are, the personality. That's what we need. We need realness, especially happiness, because a lot of times once we go on social media, it's just you become angry. And I get tired of being
Yeah,
angry. It's just
it's
it,
exhausting
it is. It takes a toll. It's draining.
for sure. Positive vibes.
Only positive vibes. We got to get this collaboration with Boosie too. This is your favorite. Is he still your favorite artist? Is that still your top artist?
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna always be a Boosie fan.
Hmm.
I just love Boosie. I love his personality. I love how authentic he is. But my favorite, I don't know. I don't know.
And you have a diverse listening range. Country, you big into country. I can't cross that lane. I'm hip hop, R&B. I love hip hop. That's my type. Country, that's a tough pill to swallow for me.
Have you heard Morgan Wallace?
What's that?
Have you heard Morgan Wallace? His
Oh,
is really
I
good.
don't like him. No, no. I don't like him.
I
Morgan,
know.
you like him?
I mean, I like a couple of his songs.
Okay, I know he's got in trouble with saying the N-word and everything. So it's
Really?
yeah, he said the N-word.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he said the N. I do not condone him.
I don't either.
And Drake was
Dang, why
there.
do you do that?
And Drake's out there drinking what is that? Moonshine with him? I saw him dancing with him with Roger Clemens, he's another one. Yeah, I just thought I saw that. I saw that with Drake. He was dancing with him. Drake is he's one of the biggest fall offs of all time. He really is. Like I liked his music early on, but it's like, what are you doing, man? I'm Team Kendrick. And then younger me would have been Team Drake because I like when Drake first came out. I said this guy is going to be the one of the biggest of all time, and it's just the fall off has been disappointing. She's laughing.
It's
Oh,
so funny the way you just started going like
yeah,
Drake.
because it's just, I mean, I just don't like seeing racism come from, especially with country artists. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, and then Drake wants to work with him. It's just, I can't condone that. I
Yeah, no.
just, I,
Next,
rock and
Kendrick
roll
all
too.
day.
Yeah, Kendrick, I agree. Kendrick, he's winning and well deserved. Rock
Hmm.
and roll, Coldplay, big
Oh,
Coldplay listener.
love. When you try your best and you don't succeed. I love Coldplay.
Coldplay, the vocals. She displayed the vocals here. Look at that. A true authentic singer right here. But you don't classify. That's the thing. You're a trap R&B trap. That's your own genre.
Yeah, I felt like it was important for me to put myself in my own genre. They always try to put you in a box.
Hmm.
They try to do it to this day. Obviously, they want me to super R&B or be super rap. Like I'm a mixture of both. And also feel like this album definitely shows my diversity and my ability to create no matter what. You
Hmm.
know, can't put me in a box.
No, you can't. Or else you're gonna. I'm telling you, and that now that you're boxing, you're not gonna be in that box for sure.
That, thank you. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah, I'm telling now it's your time to box them out. All the pauses, all the dramatic pauses here. uh, but Nisha, what else do you have on the way? What else that you want to let everyone know about that we didn't mention? Because I know we covered your journey, the album we went into depth about. We went into pretty much, I think, everything.
Yeah. Anything that I want to mention that we haven't yet? You know, not necessarily. I am just like super excited to be presenting this beautiful body of work to the world. I feel like it's long overdue. Sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking to introduce yourself to the world in a certain light or with like a certain sound or a certain brand, and then like a lot of people attach to that, and it's hard to grow from that and like
Mhm.
get people to grow with you from it. And so the people that are growing with me on this journey and allowing me to continue to discover myself, like I'm super grateful for that. And that's like friends, family, fans. You can grow the biggest when you have people around you that give you the grace to do so. I have had a lot of people on my journey that didn't understand my growth, and for
Mhm.
that reason they had to go. But it was hard for me to let those people go because I wanted them to go with me. Um, and I feel like there's a lot of that in this album too. That's really all I really want people to do is just check out my new music and kind of move on from not move on, but like I'm gonna go crazy and on a cloud and boss up. That was an era. And it's okay to still like that music and still listen to it and turn up to it, but I do want them to gravitate to this new vibe and these new songs.
Things change.
Things change.
That was another powerful record, and that was one that made you emotional, and that you were able to. Would you kind of describe that as an outer body experience once you saw the video put into place with the lyrics?
Yeah, I that song makes me cry to this day
Hmm.
because change was a difficult thing for me to accept along my journey. In the way that it was brought to me, the lessons were like not easy lessons. You can learn to accept change in some easy ways, or you can learn to accept it in some hard ways, like losing people close to you and stuff like that. So yeah, things change is definitely one of my more favorite and close vulnerable records.
It definitely is. When we look back on it, it stands the test of time, and it's always going to be that way. It's timeless. How about this too, especially in relation to the album and just everything that we've spoken about. You had 11 songs in rotation on the radio. You've been there. You've been signed to the majors with Rock Nation. Now, is it more of just you got to do it for the love of it? Is that really what's come down to when you look at it, because you've hit the points to where a lot of people are aiming to get to, and you've seen it that it may not be the best situation. Like, it gives you exposure, but I feel as though right now you're in a peace of mind that triumphs all those accolades to me, to where you have your fans and you're making a living and you're doing what you love with no attachments. It's your creativity. Do you feel as though that this was all the learning lesson?
Yes.
Hmm.
And it was necessary. It was treacherous at times, painful. And there was times that I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna find me a different avenue because all of the things I was going through was kind of trying to strip the love out of it. But when you really have a passion for something, it's almost nothing that can make you lose love for, whatever it is. And so, because I genuinely love music and I genuinely know that God put me here to use my music as a tool to help other people, that's what I'll continue to do. Broke, rich, results, no results, because that's just what my job is. It'll all pay off in the end.
It will.
So
It definitely will. 2025, that's your year.
it's my year. It's my
It's your
year. I know it. I feel it in my bones.
I feel it
Okay.
too. I really believe it just by listening to the new album and seeing the energy, especially online, and it's being talked about. You were featured in the news. I did check that out as well. I saw the clip. Congratulations on that, and just all your
Thanks.
success. And shout out to all the Detroit artists too, because they really do. I've seen a lot of support which you with the Detroit. There's some unity there, and shout out to Valid. I saw Valid on my post,
Oh yeah, yeah,
showing the
yeah.
love
He's
right
dope.
there. Yeah, he's a dope artist for sure. Shout out to him. Just there's a lot of people that are unified. Well, we don't get that a lot in the industry. Where we look at New York, it's you're at each other's throats. Even in different, not even just New York, but other places. Where Detroit, I feel as though there's some unity there, which
Hmm.
is rare.
Yeah, and also I think the unity comes when you're just like naturally a good person
Hmm.
and don't expect anything in return. Like I said, the good people will be there, and the people that aren't supposed to be, step
Golden words right there.
to the left, to the left.
Oh, Nisha, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Yeah, I really had a great time talking with you about your journey, the album. It really has been a great time just speaking with you about everything. And I want to thank you to Cedric as well. Shout out to Cedric for getting this all set up and connected. And I'm looking forward to everything that you got on the way here, especially these big movie roles too. That's you're gonna get
For
the
sure.
EGOT. You gotta aim for the EGOT.
Hmm. For sure. It's all on the way. Well, it's already here. It's
Mhm.
just, on the way, but already here. So,
Exactly. See, even the
yeah,
spelling, the wording, because you got to be careful how you word things. You got to word it to that you've already have accomplished it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yes.
yes, shout out to Sed. Shout out to my
Yeah.
manager. Shout out to my team. You can't do anything without a team. So,
It- you can't.
firm believer.
I agree. But Nisha, you're always welcome on the show. Anytime that you have anything to promote, we'd love to have you back.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
Of course. I appreciate that. Everyone, please go download and purchase because I'm someone that buys my music still off of iTunes. Go purchase that. Go get even maybe down the road you'll release physical copies. I still appreciate CDs, even vinyls, things like that. But
Yeah,
go out there and purchase the album. I know the streams you get maybe like a penny here and there. We've heard artists break that down. You want to really support the art, especially a body of work like this. Go download it because that's what really profits.
for sure. For sure.
Redirection available on all platforms. Neisha Neshae, I want you to enjoy the rest of your night. And until the next time, big things 2025. It's the big year.
You too. Thanks, Dex.
Of course, anytime. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Yeah, bye bye.